I was just thinking, my mom, she was like super organized. Like everything had to be a certain way. She'd like to alphabetize things, like her books and records, DVDs. She used to she used to make a list when we went grocery shopping, which isn't that crazy, I know. Everyone does that. Well, I don't, but most people do. But my mom, she had a very specific list. See, she had the whole grocery store memorized. The one near our house, she had it all mapped out. And from that map, she'd created a path that would hit all the major points: produce, bakery, meat, all the essentials in the least amount of time. So, when she made her list, she would write things in the order they appeared according to the path. She said that way she would never forget anything. See? Organized. One day, she'd just come back from the store. I must have only been like 6 or 7. I went to the freezer to get some Eggos. That was the one thing I had asked for. I looked in the freezer and no Eggos. And so I found my mom. She was sitting on the porch, and I screamed, "Mom, where are the Eggos?" And she looked at me and she was crying. I didn't know what to say. So I said, "That's okay, Mom. You can make me pancakes instead." She thought that was funny. Turns out the store had done some renos, switched the frozen food in the ice cream fridges. So when she went for Eggos, she found mint chip fudge, which wasn't on the list that week. She couldn't handle it. She bolted, drove the cart out of the front of the grocery store, ran with the cart of stolen food all the way home, 18 blocks. Left the car there and everything. She said, "I'm never going to be able to go back there." She had to learn a whole new store. The reason I was thinking of this is, well, I'm cold. I forgot a blanket. Wouldn't have forgotten a blanket if I made a solid list, like she used to. The employees saw her when she stole the cart. Didn't even try to stop her. They knew they couldn't. They all saw what I saw. A crisis, a massive shift. The tectonic plates of a person meeting and grinding into each other. When you have a crisis like that, the constructs in your life break down, turn to sand under your boot, so you let go. You steal a grocery cart of food, or you fly away. Not sure if anyone is even seeing this. The light says it's working, but technology, right? I just thought I would share, I guess, or reach out. Maybe reach out. Elton John said it, but he was right. It is lonely in outer space. I know you can't really answer, but I'll ask anyway. How are things with you? I found a satellite. Pretty cool, huh? I can tell it's moving pretty fast, relative to the Earth, I mean, but it doesn't feel that way to me. To me, it feels really calm. It's calm up here. Oh, wait, here. Look, the moon. I know you've seen it before, but it's different from up here. Pretty, huh? I've always loved space, or the idea of space, and I'll be honest, it does not disappoint. Have you ever heard the term cosmic vertigo? It's where you think so much about your scale in the universe, it becomes disorienting. Makes you a bit seasick. Do you ever think about that? How small you are? How cosmically you're tinier than your eyes are even capable of processing. You've never seen anything as tiny as you. You're microscopic, infinitesimal, you're atomic. Makes me feel a bit, I don't know, queasy. I remember my mom explaining space to me. Planets, stars, suns, galaxies, the universe. It all made me feel small compared to everything else. I'm sure that wasn't her intention, but it did. It made me feel like I was small and that everything else was so expansive. I wanted to be expansive. So I tried. At night, I would lay in bed and imagine myself floating out of my body and up through the roof. I'd float up higher and higher, watching everything else get smaller and smaller. When I'd look down, I could see my body, a little glowing dot. That way I could always find my way back, a guiding star back to Earth. I'd push up further into the sky, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere, and that's where I would stop. On the edge, never daring to go fully into space. I thought if I went further, I would lose sight of my star body and never make it back home. So there I would float, looking down on the world. Eventually I stopped thinking about space, outgrew it, or maybe I just forgot about it one night. Some of my friends used to drink in the soccer field behind our old elementary school. I thought it was kind of childish, like we can go to a bar or like one of our places, but no one owns a yard when you're 19, so soccer field it is. And there was this girl there, Tess, who sort of just showed up. Like, I couldn't tell if anyone else actually knew her, but she was just so comfortable and relaxed that I didn't really question it. And at some point, I don't remember how, but it ended up just being Tess and me. She asked me if I wanted to have sex. She just kind of asked. And I did. She started kissing my neck, so I threw back my head to give her maximum real estate, and boom, there it was, hanging above me. Space. She placed her hand on my chest and gently pressed me down onto the cold grass, and all I could see was the pinpricks of starlight. As she touched me, I imagined how small we must have looked in that field, in that town, that province. I let go again, floating higher and higher, watching our bodies get smaller and smaller until they were just tiny specks, like stars. I watched as our star bodies danced and pulsed beneath me. Up and up I went, tropo, strato, meso, thermo, exo. Our light was bright, so bright together I was sure I could go further. I could push out into the nothingness of space and find my way back. I reached out and felt the tips of my fingers press past the last layer of earthly molecules and touch space. And then I unraveled. My fingers twisted and dissipated like a drop of ink in the titanic blankness of space. I was scattered across everything and became one with it all. I was stardust and red ice. I was black holes and solar winds. I was expansive. I was everything. including 2 people having sex in a field. People having sex in a field. That's me. That's me, I thought. And with that realization, I was recombined, like in a garbage compactor, forced back into my dense, heavy shape. And I saw our pinprick lights below. They were growing so fast, too fast. It was filling my whole vision. I was falling. That town, that field growing so large, it was all I could see. And there Tess and I were at the center of it all. And I remember thinking, what right do we have to feel so large? And then I came. Like, hard. I haven't really done that since. Haven't been able to. The projection thing, not come. That I can definitely still do. Whenever I used to get overwhelmed, I'd look to the sky hoping to feel that again, but I couldn't. Couldn't bring myself to feel that kind of freedom again. But things have been really bad. I mean, you know that. It's hard down there, and I needed to get back here. Everything's just so crazy right now. Week after week, something new. Do you feel it too? Things coming undone? The tethers that keep us connected are stretching, snapping. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Don't you want to feel it? Hi again. Hope everyone's doing well. Just thought I'd check in. I'm looking down right now and I can see just so much. You wouldn't think I could see anything from up here, but I do. I see it all. And you'd think that might make me regret or make me want to come home, but no. I look down and what I see is overwhelming. There's so much, so many things, so many choices. It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. She's hungry, right? So she goes out looking for something to eat, and she finds this house, this little bear house. She goes in, and there's porridge for Papa Bear and Mama Bear and Baby Bear. She tries Papa's, and it's too hot. She tries Mama's, and it's too Cold, but see, Baby's got it just right. And that's the whole idea. There's only one that's just right. Only one option that will fix things, make everything okay. And it's no big deal for Goldilocks in this case, because the bear family is a good little nuclear family, but what if they weren't? What if she walks into the bear household just as they're about to serve supper to their extended family? Well, now, think of all the porridge she has to try before she finds Baby's. Because Cousin Bear's is too hard, but Grandma Bear's is too soft. So she takes a bite of each, and by the time she finds Baby's, she's stuffed. So what was even the point? And now, imagine she walks into not a house, but a colony, a bear colony, with all kinds of bear families, with all kinds of bear people, with all kinds of porridge. And the point is, she still has to try them all, because only Baby's is just right. Goldilocks has to eat thousands and thousands of porridges before she finds the one that's right. She's covered in hot and cold, chunky and creamy, some with sugar and some full of ants, because think of all the permutations of porridge there could be, before she finds that perfect porridge that's just right. And by the time she finds it, she's raided the colony, leaving a dripping mess of porridge and waste behind her. And all the bears know her. They've seen her. The girl with golden hair, caked with hardened grains, cinnamon and broken glass. And so when she finally finds it, she looks up and there's Baby, scared, horrified of what's in front of her. And she looks down at Goldilocks and she says, "All of this for some porridge?" That's what it's like down there. Too many things to try, but nothing that actually fixes anything. There's too much. The odds of us, all of us, finding that thing that's just right, it's never going to happen. We made things too complicated. So, screw it. I'm making my own porridge. And here's the recipe. Step 1, play some relaxing music. Step 2, sit in a comfortable chair. Step 3, gently close your eyes. Step 4, imagine yourself in that chair. Imagine what you look like with your eyes closed, sitting in that chair. Step 5, now imagine your family. Step 6, imagine your friends. Step 7, imagine your work and your car and your dog and your phone and your collection of seashells you bring home from the beach. Step 8, imagine your favorite food. Step 9, imagine the greatest place you've ever visited. Step 10, imagine there is a tiny silver thread coming out of your head. Step 11, not one, but hundreds, thousands of threads. Step 12, all of these tiny silver threads are connected to one of those things, one of those important things. Step 13, you are at the center of a spider web of things. Step 14, but you are not the spider. Step 15, you are the fly. Step 16, and this web is keeping you down. Step 17, anchored. Step 18, tethered. Step 19, so free yourself. Step 20, reach out with your mandibles and snip. Step 21, snip. Step 22, snip. Step 23, snip. Step 24, snip, 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 snip. Step 25, forget the things. Step 26, release yourself of all earthly needs. Step 27, you're a fly after all. Step 28, a fly who was told they were a spider. Step 29, cut the final threads. Step 30, the ones you saved for last. Step 31, because it's too painful. Step 32, because you didn't think you could bear it. Step 33, you can. Step 34, I know you can bear it because you've been through worse. Step 35, cut them. Step 36, good. Step 37, now doesn't that feel better? Step 38, now spread your wings. Step 39, you forgot you had them, but you do. Step 40, spread your wings and beat them. Step 41, beat the wind around you. Step 42, disturb the quiet and dust beneath you. Step 43, it is beneath you now. Step 44, press upwards. Step 45, come on. Step 46, push, push harder. Step 47, you're almost there. Step 48, keep going. Step 49, there. Step 50, welcome. cloud of junk is going by. Looks like it's going to miss me by a long shot. But space junk is a real thing. We leave stuff up here. Garbage, bits of spaceships, satellites. It all just orbits around the planet. Eventually, there's just going to be a shell of junk around the planet. Shards of metal and loose bolts. All of it spinning so fast that if it were to hit anything, it would turn to plasma on impact. We're going to ruin space too, eventually. Well, not yet, though. Not yet. I'm talking about in the future. The chances of that happening now are very slim. Very slim. I just don't want that to discourage you if you were, yeah. You could do it. You should do it if... I thought you would be here by now. So far, just me. And some cosmic junk. There it goes. It's going by me now. Missed me. It's kind of pretty, actually. Everything is uniform, moving all together, changing directions all at once, like a little dance. Or how starlings do that thing. Murmuration. Ever seen that? Murmuration. You should look it up. It's pretty special. One of the pieces is floating towards me. Just gently floating towards me. Thrown off course or left the pack. On your own, little one? That's all right. We can be friends. Come to... Oh my God, is that... Holy shit, no way. How did you get up here? Look. That's right. Come here. You're not going to believe it. That's impossible. Nonsense. Why are you here? Doesn't make any sense, really. I can play something. Seems right. I learned the ukulele in high school. All the other schools had real instruments. Trumpet, saxophone, tuba, but we had ukuleles. More cost-effective, they said. They said, sorry, I'm buying time. I'm a bit self-conscious, and that's what I do when I get nervous. Avoid, evade, leave. Listen, I know it's not right to just leave. It's not the responsible thing to do, not when there's so much that needs to be done. It's not fair. But I'm not sure I care. Not sure I can care. They say you can't run from your problems, but look, you can. So why not? And sure, I feel guilty and selfish, yeah, but this is what I need for myself. That's fair, right? I thought by now you would be here, that others would feel the same way and join me up here. What are you waiting for? Please? What if we just left it all behind, cut and run? We can start again. You just have to choose. And I know by doing this, I'm just adding more decisions, more things to be wrong about, more porridge. But at least this one is simple. Only two options. You can choose to stay. Try to fix the world until you're old and tired. Or you can leave. Try again, elsewhere. Break the rules, blaze a trail, try your luck. I'm not very organized. Not very good at making choices. I just follow my gut. But that's just me. I made my porridge. What are you going to do? How about a song? Okay. Oh. I felt my soul rise up from my body when I look into your blue eyes. If cosmic force is real at all, it's come between you and I want to be naked. I don't need my body. I don't need my body. I'm floating away. I'm floating away. I'm floating away. Is that? What is that? How the hell did this? Dear Space Girl, firstly, I just wanted to say how proud we are of you. And we understand. We understand how hard it is to be here right now. Things feel impossible right now. But you've shown us impossible doesn't have to be a bad thing. Things are changing and we need to be here to make sure they change for the better. So please, come home. This is not the time to run away. This is the time to stay strong. And we need you. You're the woman who broke gravity. We can't just let you go.
Dear Space Girl,
Dear Space Girl,
I hope that this
please get your floating ass back down here.
In silence.
Look, I know that you're
Space
disappointed.
and
It wouldn't be right now.
You followed your heart no matter
Small
what.
corner of this
And
place.
I want you to do the same.
Don't know what happened to you specifically. It's none
You've
of my
answered all
business.
questions, hesitantly.
But come
Even though
on.
you didn't know the answers to them.
I
remember,
promise you.
home
that
is not necessarily a
someone
place.
Or something or somewhere.
Home can be a person
Little
too.
rock is gonna make
We
it
can
back
be
up
home.
to you. So
We
please,
are your home.
come home.
Come home.
Thanks. Geez, thanks. Wow, I don't know how to say thanks. That's nice. That's really nice. I'm still not sure though. Oh, I'm sinking. I can feel you all, like you're weighing me down. No, not weighing, like you're pulling me in. Like I'm out at sea and you're scooping me out of the ocean like a fish. Not sure if I want to. It does seem different from up here. You can still see all the bad, all the complicated stuff. It's all still there. But the good, it does seem magnified somehow. They say you can't see anything from space, but you can. I can. I see birds, lawns, kids playing. I see warm coffee and freshly made beds. I see fresh-picked raspberries and sea foam and lightning bugs. I see some sort of life down there. I know it's not a lot. It's silly to pin your hopes on such simple things. Is that what you want to fight for? Those simple things? If that's what you think, okay, I trust you. It's not a lot. maybe it's enough to go on. It's a start. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I'll do it. I'm ready. Bring me home. Woo!
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks so much for watching tonight's show. We really super appreciate it. You can go ahead and fire off some questions in the chat. I am Tim. Oh, there's my voice talking back to me. I'm in the past by 20 seconds, so if you want to fire off questions, I'll just let them sort of pile up here. But I would like to just take a moment to acknowledge the other people in the room. So Brennan, our camera operator, is just going to kind of show you who all is here. We don't really get to do a bow in this show because of the strained nature of it, so that's what it looks like back here. Yeah, and hey, Brennan, can you show your face in any way? Yeah, cool. There we go. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, unfortunately, Vern Thiessen isn't able to be with us right now. He is not even in the province and is stuck in a different city's traffic. So he's not going to be joining us tonight. So if you want to just fire off questions here in the chat, I will try to answer them as best I can. Russ Hunt says, mesmerizing. We had some technical issues within the scenes and missed things. Will it be possible to go back and see what we missed? Yeah, it's a good point. So obviously this is a big experiment in a lot of ways. This is our first pass at sort of how the tech works. And yeah, we definitely learned a lot. Figured out a couple ways to make things a little bit easier and more accessible in a future production of this. But yeah, we're going to post the show with both endings on the Notable Acts channel. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll keep those links active so the scenes that you can click away to will still be available as you go through as well. So yeah, we'll make sure that people can see the whole show if they had any technical glitches, which is very understandable. Jason McIntyre asks, what were some of the unexpected hurdles of doing a show on Zoom? Everyone's laughing in the room because those were all of the difficulties. Yeah, Zoom is very fickle and it's not meant for this, right? And so in a lot of ways, we're sort of taking a square peg and pushing it into a circular hole. Some of the difficulties, there have been many. It's unpredictable. There's a lot of choreography that we've been doing with the 4 blocks and sort of the way that Zoom captures those images. And it's never the same on one screen to the next. And so there's no way to sort of make sure that all the screens are doing the same thing. It's one challenge. The fact that we're using internet at all is a big challenge. We dropped calls in the middle of one of our breaks. One of the cameras turned off, and so we had to reconnect it back to Zoom. So there's lots and lots of little technical issues that are more just about learning how the program works. But with all those difficulties, I'll say that it was a very smooth process in terms of rehearsal, in terms of creation of the piece, because this is sort of about the world we're all living in. And typically in a play, you sit down, you do a lot of table work, you talk about like what each character wants, blah, blah, blah. And there was a very little of that because we all sort of sat down, we all were occupying the same world. And so it was really easy to create because we all were on the same page. So it made it a very simple, joyous process in terms of the acting and the creation in the people in the rooms, not the technology. Sophia Trombley-Pitt asks, script-wise, how planned was all the blocking? Was it planned in advance or created in rehearsal? There's some stuff in the main Space Girl plot, so like the live stuff that is in the script. The idea of like creating like a composite of face, some of the more like spacey, turbulent stuff, her letting go of the camera and letting it float away. Some of that stuff was in the script. Pretty much everything that was in the ensemble scenes, so the click away scenes, were generated kind of collectively. And so I would basically work with Alice, our Space Girl. We would go off and talk about script stuff, and then we'd let the ensemble just sort of explore and try stuff out. And that's why, if you watch 3 different videos with 3 different actors, there's a real variety in terms of shadow puppetry and movement theater and just the way that the cameras are interacting with the world. And so it was very much up to just the creation of the ensemble, and I think they did a pretty awesome job. Our Kilfoyle is asking, do you expect people to have an entirely different story based on their choices, or just different perspectives on the same story? I think it's more different perspectives on the same story, although each of the scenes kind of gives you a different piece of information about the world. There's like stuff that's revealed. You don't really get the whole picture until you've watched all 6 of the options. And my hope is in the future that there could be more of these scenes to kind of create like a larger tapestry of information that we may not know about in this version of the play. Bernie said, I love how the endings were so, we saw validates the simple things. Oh, thank you, that's nice. Mark asks again, what are the advantages of doing a show this way? we don't get to play with view the same way we do in theater, right? In theater, you have a choice. You as the viewer decide where you're looking and what your focus is on. And as theater artists, a lot of our job is to pull focus using lights or sound or movement of actors to kind of guide your eye. Here we have the advantage of telling you exactly what to look at, right? So we get to like zoom in right on a part of a body. In the observer scene, there's lots of hand stuff, right? It's kind of like moving hands through space. And we wouldn't be able to do that on stage. Even if we isolated the lights, you'd be like, you're not there with it. So having this kind of interactivity is really cool. Yeah, and it does become interactive. You can't really, nobody wants to participate in theater if it's live. Nobody wants to like raise their hand or say anything. But behind your screen, you can vote for things. You can choose things, choose scenes. And so yeah, there's a little bit more wiggle room in terms of what audiences are willing to do. So many questions. I'll just do a couple more here. How did you expect the voting to turn out during the stay in space or come home vote? I had no idea, really, and I still don't really have a full idea because voting was, again, a technical, it happened every night and it went super well, but it was, we learned on the fly. There's a 20-second delay between what I'm saying right now and then what you're seeing on YouTube Live. And so, like, gauging how much time was going to pass there and how many people had voted. The first night, we performed the wrong ending because people voted more for one ending than the other, but our stream hadn't caught up at that point, so we were like, oh great, we're doing ending 2, and then it was like ending 1, boom. So I think it was overall pretty 50-50, but I'm excited to do another version of this play hopefully in the future and see what that looks like a little bit more. Oh boy, somebody moderate me. How many more questions should I do? No. 2? Okay, thank you. Rebecca Shasa is asking, question for the cast. Does the ambiance of an in-person audience make it more difficult to perform? Easier or just different? Does the ambiance of an in-person audience make it more difficult to perform, easier or different? Somebody want to come answer that? I can just give you the microphone. It became very informal very quickly. Lucas, come over here.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. I'm just going to hold this for you.
Sounds good. Oh, right.
The question is, does the absence of an in-person audience make it more difficult to perform or easier or just different?
I'm definitely leaning into more just the different. It's just because I've had very little kind of like film acting experience. Like that, of course, you don't really have an audience to base off of, but since this is very much theater and not a film set, we're not film professionals, we're not doing a movie, you're usually expecting to be able to kind of like almost feel the audience's reaction at certain points. You're expecting them to react to certain things in certain ways, and then kind of one of the joys in opening a performance is the fact that you then find out that you've expected them to react in a way that they then completely subvert. So that was something that I'd say was a little bittersweet to not have that, but then to find out kind of after the fact, looking back and seeing you could then like kind of read through the comments and realize kind of retroactively all of those things that you generally get on stage. But yeah, definitely leaning towards the different, because it was still fun.
You're seeing in action. Sorry, I'm watching my stream down here on my lap. I looked like I was dabbing for like that whole question. You're seeing the in-person difficulty of doing something like this, even though it is digital, right? We still are coming into proximity, and so there's a lot of juggling of, masks on, sanitize this, don't hold that, right? So lots to learn still, but it was an interesting process overall. I'm just going to answer this very last question, which is, do you feel it's closer to filmmaking or stage theater? And I still don't know the answer to that, to be honest. It feels very much like a hybrid, but I think it still lives in the world of theater because it's live, because it's not one pre-recorded stream, because we're using internet and all kinds of devices that can fail. It feels like theater because there's a risk, because in theater there's always the chance that someone's going to forget their line, that a cue is going to go wrong, right? Which is one of the exciting things about theater. And so for me, where there are sub-bodies in space, where there are all these interactive components that can break down at any point, yeah, it still feels like theater to me, with maybe some of the aspects of film injected into it. Thanks everyone for your feedback and your questions. Thanks so much for watching. Super, super appreciate it. You can still click the link to donate in the chat, or go to nbax.com to make a donation there. Yeah, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thanks for supporting Notable Acts.